In this short video, I'm going to be showing you how to arrange our faux white hydrangea deluxe arrangement. I'm going to use our laburnum vase, the ceramic one. Such a classic, versatile one that I just always seem to have somewhere throughout our home. And we're going to be starting off with the popular stems. So get the greenery in first as a really nice base for this. And you just want to spend a couple of seconds just teasing out these side shoots, and you want maximum volume. So it wants to look something like this. And we can, once it's in, you can kind of curve them to your, kind of the way that you want it to look once it's actually in the vase. So in terms of height, I'm going to bend it down a little bit just because this feels too kind of splayed out and a little bit, there's too much kind of naked stem, as I call it, on show here. So I'm just going to bend that down a couple of inches so that it feels a bit more in proportion with the vase. And the same for the other one. I'll probably bend this one down slightly more to just get a slight variation going in the heights. It just always helps to make it feel slightly more natural. At this stage, because the neck of this vase is relatively wide, they're going to move. But don't panic, because by the time we start getting in all of the other stems, it's going to feel quite full in there. So next up, I'm going to pop in the white viburnum. So I'm going to put these in ahead of putting my white hydrangea in, just to help fill out the shape a little bit more. Normally, if you've watched some of my videos before, you'll be thinking she normally puts in the larger focal flower first, and you'd be quite right. But in this instance, I feel like these are acting almost as a foliage. So I'm not too concerned about their placement at the moment. I just kind of want to get a feel for where I want the viburnum to sit. So we've got two stems of these. So I'm going to keep this one as is. And then the other one, I'm going to bend it down quite a bit, just so that it's, if I twist this towards you a little bit so you can see, I just want to bend it down quite a bit so it's filling in this gap. So somewhere around about there, and I always use kind of the vase as a bit of a base in terms of where I want to bend them down to. So you've got one slightly higher and one slightly lower. Don't worry too much at the moment about kind of the snowball flower bits where they're facing and positioning. We can play around with that as we start filling everything else in. So next up, I am going to then put in our white hydrangeas. These want to not feel like they're all the same height, and they certainly don't want to feel like they're all facing in the same direction. So when you've got anything big like these, whether it's hydrangeas, peonies, they need to feel as if they're growing in the garden. If you look in your garden, you'll find that they really don't all look the same height or position. So we're going to bend one slightly lower just to have it sitting over the neck of the vase and almost coming towards us. And that's really going to help kind of put the flowers in the vase almost like in harmony together, so that it's not feeling like they're disjointed at all. There's no kind of naked stem going on down here. It's florals and greenery from the neck. So one there. I'm actually going to leave these next to at full height. And I'm going to have one going over to this direction. And then the other one is going to go over the other direction, facing towards me. About there, something like that. Now at this point, you'll start to notice you can start tweaking the foliage a bit easier, and it's all going to sit much nicer now that you've got multiple stems in the vase. So I'm just turning it towards me to check that I'm happy with that positioning. I'm just going to bring that hydrangea forward a tiny bit. I just didn't want the viburnum stem to kind of feel like it was in front of the hydrangea. Something like that. Next up, I'm going to pop in our white ranunculus spray. And again, with these, you want to spend a couple of seconds just teasing out them lovely side shoots. And then in terms of height, I'm possibly going to leave this one as it is. Maybe just bend it down ever so slightly. I've gone down about an inch on that one, and just have it through the middle, just so that we've got something slightly higher up on this side to kind of match with the viburnum. But by doing it in a completely different stem, it helps it feel really natural. And then the smaller one I'm going to have coming through here because we've got a little bit of a gap there. So bend that down, plonk it in. And that's they just help kind of break up the hydrangea and the viburnum because they're a slightly different shape and a different formation to the rest of the stems. And then lastly is our wax flower. So we've got 3 of these. And you'll probably notice that in any green or white arrangement, I always use the wax flower, and they are kind of the middle ground in between foliage and focal flowers, because these have got so many pretty kind of delicate small white flowers with lots of greenery as well. So they just help add a bit of delicacy, a bit of movement, and stop it feeling too kind of white and green. Even though these are white and green, it just stops it feeling a little bit kind of like solid, I guess is more the word. So I'm going to leave one of them at full height and have it through the back there. And the lovely thing about these is these side shoots, so you can really tease these throughout the arrangement and get maximum kind of coverage with them. So just nestling them throughout in different directions as well, I think really helps. So you see this little one down here, just pulling that out so that it just kind of is almost like just dancing around at the bottom over there, and the other side shoot is coming round the front there. And then this last one I'm probably going to have over here a little bit. Again, I'm going to leave this one at full height, I think. Sometimes I miss the vase completely. That one going that way, like so. And then once you've got everything in, it's really then just a case of kind of playing around until you're happy with all of the placement. So I'm actually going to move this now over to the side, and you'll be able to kind of see with a plain background, like the positioning a little bit better, and I can kind of faff with it until I'm a little bit happy. So I'm just going to bring that viburnum more central and this hydrangea out to the side a bit better. And it looks really quite bunched here. I don't know if you can see. I've got quite a real bunch of loveliness going on, but it just looks a bit solid, like we could separate that a little bit better and just get... You almost want it to feel like if a butterfly came in, it could like fly in between all of the foliage and flowers, just to make it feel super natural and kind of whimsical. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that now. But hopefully that kind of helps give you a bit of confidence in arranging it yourselves, and maybe a few little tips along the way too. So thank you very much for watching.